All right. It looks like it's up. I don't know. I tried to do this on YouTube, but I'll just do it on Facebook because I actually did my post. I don't know how long ago it was on Facebook, but I brought up the whole thing about athletes doing it, playing for the team. And it was a very, I feel, controversial post. Now, when I'm talking, I'm generally talking to future or current professional athletes or those who inspire to be, which is a very small percentage. So I think that's a part of the problem is when, you get the 99% and the 1% that are going off to play, and they're getting most of their opinions from the 99% because they are the 99%. So what happens is you get a 99% mentality that ends up going to the 1%. And that's playing the professional sport or even whatever the percentage is that's playing Division I, Division II, Division I AA football in college or a sport, period. It doesn't have to be football, volleyball, soccer, track, whatever it is. But I always get into it with a lot of my former teammates and a lot of parents as well as now when I say, there's one thing about there being the team. The team when you're playing the game and the clock starts, and you're there for the event that day, for the task at hand. When the clock starts, there's if it's a team sport, there should be the team involvement, and that should be the team. There's team when it comes involved in practicing, and there's certain things in certain order. That's when you're dealing with team. But when it comes to an individual being injured and the philosophy of when they play that they're playing for the team, to me, is wrong if they're injured. Now, there's a difference between some people being hurt, but when you're injured to the point to where you can further damage one's body, damage oneself. It's just a game. It's just if it's you're not being paid for it. If it's work, right? Like what's all the other jobs that people have to where they're going there and they're injuring they're risking injuring themselves for work. That's what I want to ask all the other people. I talked to a former teammate earlier, and we were disagreeing in the sense of Kevin Durant, which we saw last night. He came back, played in the game, and now he has a torn Achilles, right? And a lot of people were saying, I was like, what is he coming back for? And, he's a contract year, and they said, well, he wants to win a championship. And I said, that's great. Most people start the season. Everybody wants to win a championship. But the athlete whose job that is, your job is to be able to consistently play at a high level. That's what you're being paid to do. Everyone throws the championship stuff out there, and that's great because it's all money makers. But that, some guys have those incentives in their contracts. But even with that, they're paying the athlete for that job and for the duties that they do to be able to consistently play at a high level. So if you have some type of injury that's going to prevent you from playing at a high level, you are risking your career. I'm not even talking about furthering injuring your own body. I'm talking about the scale in which you're looked at and which you're graded upon, right? Like when as a former player for me, when I had certain injuries, I always would play if I felt that I could still play at a high level, right? If it was something to where I knew I couldn't go, I knew I could go, but it wouldn't be a high level. I felt that for the team, the guy that's behind me or whatever it is, could play at a higher level than I felt that that I could play at. Now, when it comes down to Kevin Durant, I mean, now there's this torn Achilles. So now there's a whole bunch of question marks. A lot of people are saying, well, oh yeah, now he definitely has to stay. And, and I'm like, so to me, when I hear that, and why someone would say that is the fact that they're saying, oh, well, he's damaged goods now, so no other team will want him. Now that was a Warrior fan saying that, but so I'm saying that to like the individual Durant, that particular fan is not necessarily knowing, but his assumption is that these other teams won't want him right now because he's damaged goods. And you don't know how he's going to come back from that. And I feel that a lot of people, especially the 99% people that haven't done it, surgery is nothing nice. I mean, the human body wasn't made to just be opened up and just be operated on all the time. So I think that we've been desensitized to hearing and seeing these television shows that, oh, so-and-so got injured and such and such and such and such. And blah, 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 blah. And, oh, they'll be back in 6 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 months, whatever it is. And everyone goes, oh, okay, oh, yeah, so-and-so will be back, blah, 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 blah. They just had their knee scoped. Anytime you open up the human body, there's a risk there, right? The body reacts a certain way. Anytime you have to repair something that God already made, you're not necessarily guaranteed that it's going to come back with that fine tuning how it was already made, right? So I feel that I'm talking to these future professional athletes now. Of course, this isn't for everybody. You have to weigh the risk for what you want, just like how they're telling you guys not to do drugs, not to drink, and all this other stuff. I'm telling you not to play if you're going to jeopardize your future for something that you want and that you look for in the past. Because especially when you get to the professional level, they're going to be paying you to consistently play at a high level. Everyone talks about all the championship BS and so-and-so. Well, Kevin Durant wants to be compared to Jordan. He has this many rings and he has that many. Well, everyone wants that. But in order to get that, you have to be able to play at a consistently high level. Just you wanting to win a championship doesn't make it happen. But you consistently being able to be there, to be available, you're getting paid to have the ability to be able to play, right? So why would you ever risk not being able to play? You can't win no championship. Well, I guess this year if the Warriors happen to pull off and win all the rest of the games, he will have helped this year for the position that they got themselves into. So he will have helped. But I'm saying it's just, we have to, as an athlete, you can't look at the championship when I'm talking about when you have an injury. Now, everyone goes out there, you can get injured, you can get hurt at any time. I'm not saying that, but when you knowingly have something, now there's more reports coming out that the Warriors, some people in the management were saying it didn't seem like KD was trying his hardest to get back to be able to play. And that's what they're saying, that he gave in to the rumors and the chatter that people are talking about. And I get it, and that's why I want to tell you younger inspiring athletes or you young pros, it's a cutthroat business, and now not everybody has the talent of KD, but it's not a promise that whatever you hurt that it can get fixed. And when it does get fixed, it's going to be the same, right? I saw some people. What's going on, cuz? What's up, Tracy, Corey, Eddie? If you are hurt, Corey says, if you are hurt and you come back before healed, the way you have the potential to negatively impact the ability to ever play the game again and your career. Exactly. that's what it's about. And it sucks because people hear, and you grow up and you hear all these team concepts. You hear team, 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 but depending on who you are, it is what the team is, because there's not going to be any team that's going to be rehabbing with you. It's a lonely road, especially depending on what you have. It's a hard road. It's tough mentally because the team isn't there. There is no team again. The team is still getting paid for the ability that they have and to play at the high level. And they're moving on with plans of you not being there, and maybe possibly plans of your possible return. So I think you just have to put that into a perspective, on what and when to use and what they're saying with team. Corey says, how can an athlete come back and play after injury, but an electrician gets hurt on the job and they are a workman's comp and not allowed to go back until cleared by doctors? What's the difference? Exactly. Like that's a great point there. And that's what I want the actual worker to start looking at, Corey, is, again, with the 99% and the 1%, the athlete generally goes in there with the 99% mind, but they're the 1%. And then you have, it's always a bunch of the people that have never, I'm not gonna say that have never done it per se, because we have the high school sports, we have the youth sports, and then we have collegiate sports. So a lot of people that played the same thing look at it the same way, but it was never their job. So, but they're the ones speaking on it, or you're looking at all these talk shows and everyone feels that everything is just, okay, yeah, you can go get surgery, well, you could die in surgery. There's a whole lot of different negative things that can happen. It's not just as easy as surgery. In college, my junior year, game 1, I tore my shoulder capsule. And it was explained to me that, your junior season is when all the scouts come and look at you. So we could get an MRI, your shoulder's probably torn, you have surgery, your season's done. Or you could try to play until you can't play anymore. And I chose to play until I couldn't play anymore. And, my shoulder would hurt, but I was playing for a purpose because I wasn't there yet. So I was trying to get there. And I knew that there's only so much opportunity when you're in college to be able to perform. And I did, but there was a lot of other, that choice. Still, there was no, I didn't walk around with a different uniform on and they say that, okay, Adrian's just going to keep playing with his shoulder torn. I actually got criticism for it because it was deemed that it almost looked like, I guess they thought that I was faking injury because there I get to doing certain drills. I didn't want to do certain drills in practice because of my torn shoulder. But, because it's something that's internal and you can only verbally say what you are and what you're not going to do. And I never had gotten the MRI on it. So it was basically my word that my shoulder hurts versus the reality of it. So then when the season ends, I get the surgery. So, that's permanent damage. And yeah, I was playing for a purpose, for a job for later in the future in the National Football League for me. So that was a choice. That was a choice that I made to move forward with, and I live with that choice. But I'm just saying that I wanted to win a championship. We didn't win a championship. Matter of fact, we had won the WAC 2 years prior. So we want the three-peat. So I want the three-peat and win a championship, and we didn't. We didn't even go to a bowl game, and then that's when I got to see that, bang, I come back in January, I'm rehabbing. I'm not doing anything with the team. I'm in every day with the rehab guy. I'm out walking out to practice, watching the team go on about their business. I'm watching the school try to get Joey Porter ready now to take my spot. Right? Like there was no, hey, how's it going? How's the rehab going? You're our guy. You were first team last year. Hey, you sacrificed. You were trying to win that championship, boy. You were out there playing on that torn shoulder, boy. Ooh, you were trying to bring home another WAC championship. There is none of that conversation, right? So that's why I'm just telling the people, have your injuries are individual. So you need to make an individual assessment of it and save all the team stuff and save hearing from the 99% that have never been in that position. If you're going to be paid in this, you need to be able to have the ability to play at a high level. Peace and love. What's up, Jihad? Richard says, now we really understand why Kawhi took the time coming back. He was getting dragged through the mud. Exactly. I'm glad you brought that up. I meant to bring him up. Thanks, Richard. Yeah, I mean, like you look at Kawhi last year, even this year. Well, and then you're seeing a lot of other they did with Joel Embiid. Now we're hearing it called load management. And then all these TV shows, these talk shows are talking about, well, the NBA has to do something because these cities want to see these stars when they get there. So it's almost this like, hey, we don't really care how you're feeling. For the fans, you just need to make sure that every day you're out there and you're ready. Versus, hey, this you guys are watching the performance. You guys are watching the team. There's a lot of guys on the team, right? You're not going there for the individual, right? I thought it was team. So see how when people get to say team on one end, but then they want to talk about an individual up on another end. If the star player for the team is out, isn't it about the team? Shouldn't everybody else be wanting to see the team? Why is it an issue when the star player sits out? All of a sudden, it's not about team then. So you need to look at it the same way. I go back to football, RG3, and you see this with a lot of the Asiatic quarterbacks, right? They're out there sacrificing their body, putting their bodies on the line. Russell Wilson out there. First thing Seattle did was get rid of the line. Who else out there? RG3 was out there trying to win a championship, trying to win a playoff game when we could clearly see that he was injured. And the coaches just let him sit out there, tears his knee, and that was the end of him. He's back now being able to be a backup for the Ravens, and that's great. I'm great to see that. But I want you guys to get out of this mentality that you're this savior and that if you playing injured, it's going to get you something else, and it's not. The ability for you to be able to play at a high level consistently is what's going to get that for you. Not you going and playing injured and saying that you're trying to win a championship. That's not what gets you. That's not what gets you paid at all. What's up? Akili says, what if KD went through all the testing? ABS got cleared to play. Who's at fault? Well, it doesn't matter who's at fault, right? I mean, we can say who's at fault, but again, if someone else is at fault other than KD, will they have to rehab? That's what it's about. So that's why, as an individual, you have to make the choices, right? My finger was torn. I don't know. Let's see. That's like one little minor surgery I had. We played the Tennessee Titans. I just got the starting middle linebacker job. I got a big, deep thigh bruise the week before from not wearing the thigh pads. And my thigh was, it was really inflamed, tight all week. And, Tennessee was a run team, so I knew they were going to be coming with the run game with Eddie George. I think Lorenzo Neal was probably their fullback then. But my teammate ended up hitting me, busting my hand open. I had to leave the game, go to the hospital. They sewed my hand up. And the doctor said, yeah, I can't have any action for 2 weeks. We only had 2 more games left. So if the doctor that just did my surgery said we only have 2 more weeks, my season is over. So I get back to Cincinnati, and they said, hey, you're about to go to the doctor. And I was like, what? I'm going to go to the doctor. And I got to the doctor, and it was some hand specialist, and he just asked me questions. And he said, oh, okay, I'm going to go ahead and clear you and say that you're clear to play. And I was like, what? And I asked him, I was like, oh, okay, so are you saying that when I'm out there, I can't cause any further damage to my finger? And he goes, well, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. And I'm like, well, I didn't ask you if I could play. I don't know what's going on here. So the whole thing was that was supposed to be the second opinion that was going to write down and say that I could play. This is for like Akili, not for Akili. This is for everybody, but kind of answering this question. So if I just wanted to listen to what the doctor said, I would have walked right back and said, hey, this doctor said I could play. Now we're sitting there at 3-13, or 3-12, 4-11, so we're not winning no championship. And if I go out there and I need to tackle people. This is torn up. It's in a splint like this. It hurts. And I'm going to be, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do with this hand, but I'm knowing that there's not going to be an announcement to everybody to say, hey, Ross is going out there playing with torn something up in his finger. I'm going to be graded upon my ability that I ran out there with to go play with. And I didn't want to be judged on me not being at my best. And my coach then was Dick LeBeau. So when I met with him, he already suggested it. So I didn't have to go in there and fight and say it wasn't like I was fighting to try to not to play. But, when I explained to him what was going on, I was like, well, the doctor that did the surgery said 2 weeks. But it's things like that, if you're listening to someone that works for the team, stuff like that might happen. And it sounds like right now, in this case, the Warrior doctors cleared KD. And it's unfortunate. I mean, he tore his Achilles. So it's going to be interesting to see what it is. But yeah, you see a Kawhi. But I mean, I think if you look at the guys and I see a common theme of what and who these players are and what they look like and what they're trying to do. And I just feel that it needs to be said, because at these lower levels, lower than the pros, all I hear and all I remember hearing was, do this for the team and do that for the team and the team and the team and the team. And I'm just saying that when you're injured and you have to rehab and you have to come back, there is no team, and you just need to know that, and you need to make the right decision. And that's all I want this one to be about. I don't know. Y'all have any questions over there? Any more questions over here? Jeff Taylor, what's up? One of the reasons players get a second opinion. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's in there, to get the second opinion, because the team doctor works for the team. He has the benefit. He has the benefit of the team, just like your attorneys out there, right? They work for the court. They took an oath to the court. That's another subject. What's up, Carlos? If there's no more questions, I'm going to get out of here and let y'all go with that one. But like I said, I had this on a post for y'all a while ago, and a lot of people chimed in. They were like, yeah, I just think that, you could sacrifice for the team and so on and so forth. And it's, hey, there's certain situations, but definitely I'm not mad at people that want to do it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not telling people don't do it. I'm just saying know what you're doing when you're going to do it. All right. It's Adrian Ross. Yeah. Hey, go on my YouTube. Go to YouTube. The channel is The Perspective, Adrian Ross. And when you watch the videos, go ahead and like it. Even if you don't like it, hit dislike, but share it. If this knowledge is for someone that share it, please. So yeah, but going over there to YouTube, check it out. Just did the Colorado State one. We had the throwback with that. I had some former teammates on that. What I have coming up, maybe tomorrow, we're going to have Retired Cats. That'll be on my YouTube live channel. So I got some hitters coming for y'all. We got my boy Keely Smith right here coming. Darnay Scott, Corey Dillon. But I have a lot of guys coming up. We have my boy Artrell Hawkins. I'm going to get Armiga Spearman, Willie Anderson. So I'm about to be bringing y'all a whole lot of inside information and just giving you the real deal, because I'm tired of all this old information being passed on, and so I'm about to give you the new and give you the real, uncut and raw. You know what I mean? All right, peace and love.